This is a breath practice for supporting your structural body. So yes, breathing definitely helps with our nervous system depending on what practice we're utilizing or how we're breathing. But also our respiratory diaphragm is a postural muscle. So it's a respiratory muscle and a postural muscle. So we're going to train that in relationship to gravity and ground reaction force. I'm going to use a block today to sit upright in this leg position. You're free to so I'm just going to take that the short way. So I'll show you this way, the lowest point, and I'm just going to park my butt kind of right there. If that's too low for you, you can always stack another block or pillow and kind of upright yourself this way. You want to feel like that the respiratory diaphragm, if it was an aperture of a camera lens, it would be pointed straight down through wherever your seat is. So we'll draw some attention to the sits bones here. And I'm going to face sideways just so that you can see kind of where I'm positioning my body relative to my breathing. Okay, and a lot of us don't know where our rib cage really is on our body. So go ahead and just before we get started, put your hands on your ribs and feel this kind of like ring cupping around the side body that goes to the back body and the front body. So I think just that kinesthetic awareness will start you off in a good place right off the bat. Okay, so from there, feel your sits bones wherever you're seated and see if you can get a sense of the very middle of the sits bones. So if I take my tail and I kind of roll it under like a puppy dog that's in trouble, I'm going to be more on the back of my sits bones. If I take my sits bones and make myself like a really happy dog, then I'm going to be on the front of my sits bones and it tends to pitch me forward. So find a place where you're like right in the middle of yourself, middle of the sits bones. So happy tail, but not overly excited tail. And then take an inhale breath with your head down. Take an inhale, feel the aperture of your breath rise and widen you. Aperture will get bigger, but the direction will stay the same. So it's pointed straight down through those sits bones. As you exhale, feel yourself move away from your hands in 3D. Inhale breath through the nose. Go wide and deep. And exhale breath through the nose. Feel yourself get more narrow, like that aperture of the camera lens would focus deeper, deeper, deeper to the very center of your pelvis. Okay, and you're going to try to maintain that rhythm. Slowly start to move the head. Crown of the head now parks itself up on top of that aperture. So if the crown of your head had an aperture itself, like a spotlight going down the body, all of those spotlights would stack, or apertures, however you want to think about it. They would all stack together without anything shining forward too much or shining back. Find that nice vertical stacking of your felt sense body. And then hands can just rest comfortably either in your lap, palms up like so, or they could be palms down on your thighs. This is kind of more grounding. Okay, so posture to create space. We're going to keep the eyes closed if you're comfortable. And as you inhale, I want you to imagine like your pelvis is a helium balloon that's getting bigger. And as you exhale, that helium balloon gets smaller in 3D. Then go up to the rib cage. Inhale, helium balloon, stacked right on top of the base helium balloon. And as you exhale, it gets smaller and still in line with the middle of that bottom helium balloon. And going up to the head. Inhale, imagine the head like a big helium balloon getting bigger on the inhale. And as you exhale, picture that string of helium balloons staying in connection with each other, but all of them getting smaller simultaneously. Inhaling, 3 helium balloons get bigger, 3-dimensional shape change. Pausing, see if you can get a sense of that floating helium space. And then as you exhale, balloons get smaller. Stay in relationship, clearly vertical. Inhale, balloons get bigger. Exhale, balloons get smaller. Once again, inhale, balloons get bigger. And exhale, balloons get smaller. And then from this place of stacked, take your right hand across to the left. Take your left hand back to your sacrum. Take an inhale breath along that stacking vertical line. Feel yourself get wider as you inhale. Like all of those balloons get bigger. And then as you exhale, feel the balloons get smaller, but stay vertical as you twist a little deeper. Notice where in your body wants to shift, sits bones, rib cage, head. See if you can keep that stacking. Inhale, find those spaces where the breath feels a little bit more restrained. See if you can just gently flow the breath into those tighter places by softening something somewhere. Can you make this more about an internal twist from the breath versus a cranking of the arms to twist deeper? One more time, inhale, three-dimensional shape change of your stacked balloons. Exhale, feel yourself twist and rotate as you soften internally. And then inhale, come back to center. All the balloons kind of spiral back to a neutral standing space. And just feel. Before we go on to the next side, take an inhale, 3D shape change in all three balloons. Exhale, start to twist. Left hand towards right thigh, right hand behind sacrum. And as you twist, make it less about the arms wanting to get you into the twist. Make it more about the deep center body turning you. Inhaling. Three-dimensional shape change. Aperture of the rib cage stays pointed down to the pelvis. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Feel your balloons get bigger. And as you exhale, can you feel the balloons get smaller, but actually all three balloons get further away from each other? And you imagine that like string gets longer between all three balloons. One more time. Feel the breath expand you in 3D across the collarbones, the back body. Exhale, twisting a little deeper from the inside rather than from the outside. Inhale, turn your head forward. And exhale, come back to center. And then again, just notice. Notice where your balloons got stretched and expanded and where they maybe had compression. Some of that like wringing out, that twisting. We've freed up some of the space for you to sit a little bit more upright. And then last thing we'll do is just kind of a steadying of the mind and moving into the center body. If you were to drop an anchor through the crown of your head, through that string line of your balloons. So now we're kind of going in the other direction. So the balloons make us lighter and go this way. And this time I want you to think of an anchor dropping down through the middle of your brain, through the middle of this, from the front of the spine into the middle of the body, then all the way down through those sits bones. So you get this kind of like anchoring yourself down sensation. And you'll keep that, but you're going to inhale and your gaze is going to float up towards your hands as you inhale. And all the while, as I reach up with my arms, I'm continuing to go down in the middle of my spine with that imaginary anchor reaching through me. And as I exhale, I'm going to come back to that idea of helium balloons without losing that anchor. It's kind of a reciprocal relationship of opposites. Inhale, floating the arms up. The gaze of your eyes is soft and it follows the two middle fingers. If you can picture like a line of energy between your middle fingers. Feel that anchor drop down. Inhale. Exhale, slowly float the arms back down as the gaze goes with you. And just feeling this sense of center of yourself as you lower. One more time. Inhale, gaze floats up. Palms float up with the gaze, with the breath. You'll get to the top of the breath, pause, and then as you exhale, find your middle, slowly lower. Gaze is soft, hands are soft, eyes are soft. Good, and then set your hands back down. Find this place of stillness and quiet. And getting a sense that you're sitting right in the middle of yourself, front to back, side to side, and top to bottom, like you would have a perfect amount of space in those areas to find this deep sense of yourself right in the middle. And then without the breath being mechanical, energetically connect to that deep line, that cord of energy that goes up and through, down and through. As you inhale, envision a beam of light carrying your breath. And as you exhale, let that light move out of your physical body into the room around you. Once again, inhale, soft tongue, soft jaw. Let the light move the breath. And as you exhale, move it outside of yourself. And when you're ready, gently blink your eyes open. I would do that every day if you could. Okay. So that is breathing with a sense of stacking our respiratory diaphragm, not only as a breathing muscle, but also as a postural muscle, how we can use those in relationship to one another to make ourselves feel more supported, but also more grounded, and more in the middle of ourselves. So without being too far forward or too retreated back, that you can find this middle space within the physical tissues to also mentally, emotionally, spiritually bring you into a more centered place.